This is a story called The Little Monsters at Christmas. Chapter 8. The kids put up their Christmas decorations. The kids want to play outside at the skate park and the swing, but they can't because it's snowing and it's also very slippy, and they know the skate park won't be open. They just don't know what to do with themselves because they are so bored. Then Kika has an idea and she asks her mum if they can put the tree up and all the Christmas decorations. Her mum says that she can't put the decorations up on the ceiling because she's not tall enough to reach, so her dad will have to do it. Kika was upset and disappointed. Then her mum had an idea. "I know, Kika, why don't you ring the rest of the gang and invite them over to help you decorate the tree? There's lots of treats and pop in the fridge that you can all share." Kika got really excited and rang everyone, and their parents dropped them off. They spent the next few hours decorating Kika's huge Christmas tree and eating all the treats her mum left for them. There's chocolate log, crisps, cupcakes, ice cream, sweets, mince pies and cans of pop. They decorated the tree with lots of beautiful glittery bows, tinsel, baubles, lights and a beautiful angel for the top. Whilst decorating the tree, the kids sing their version of certain Christmas carols and the real version. Of course they can't help but put chocolate sweets on the tree. After about 3 hours the tree was finished and they all played for a bit, and then everyone went home. The next day it was still snowing, so they all stayed in because it was too wet and slippery for them to go out. The weather was horrendous and it made driving almost impossible, and the parents didn't want to drive their kids to each other's houses. They had no choice but to stay in for 3 whole days. Even the schools were closed. However, on the 4th day the snowplows were out, clearing the roads, making it safe to drive again. Stumpy rang everyone and invited them over to his house so that they could decorate his tree. That day Stumpy asked his mum if everyone could sleep over, and she said yeah, as long as it was okay with their parents. Of course it was okay with their parents, and they took them some clean clothes and pyjamas over. As they were decorating the tree, they sang their version of certain Christmas carols, and of course the real version. They ate lots of treats that Stumpy's mum left for them, and they had lots of fun. That night they stayed up until 12 p.m. playing games and helping Stumpy make his bedroom look Christmassy. The next day the kids were able to go outside and play, so they went sledging and had a snowball fight. Then they went back to Creeper's house. When they got there, Creeper asked her parents if they could have a sleepover and decorate the tree, and they said yeah. Everyone rang their parents and they came over with some clean stuff for them. The kids had some tea and then they decorated the tree while singing carols and eating rubbish. Creeper's parents allowed them to stay up quite late as it was Friday, so there was no school the next day. When they'd finished, they went into Creeper's room and helped her to make it look Christmassy. The next day they all went sledging and snowball fighting again, and then they went and played on the swing for a while. Later that day they all went back to Creeper's house for lunch. After they'd had their lunch, Stampy rang his mum and asked her if they could all go back there for a sleepover and to decorate their Christmas tree, and she said yeah. Before they went to Stampy's house, they spent the afternoon sledging and snowball fighting and then playing on the swing. Then it started to get dark, so they all went home, got their overnight things and then made their way to Stampy's house. When they got there they had some tea and then they played for a bit. Then about 6 p.m. they started decorating the tree. Whilst doing so they sang their version of certain Christmas songs and the proper version, much to the amusement of Stampy's parents. Of course, they couldn't resist putting Joke sweets on the tree. When they'd finished putting Stampy's Christmas tree up, they made some very festive paper chains and put them up in Stampy's bedroom, on the landing and in the hallway. The rest they saved for school because Mrs. Applejack said that they could take their own Christmas decorations to school and put them up in the classroom. She told them that it didn't matter if they made them, bought them, or brought their spare ones in from home. The next day their school was open as normal, and in the afternoon Mrs. Applejack let them put Christmas decorations up around the classroom. Those that didn't bring any were allowed to make their own or use Mrs. Applejack's. When the kids went home, they all went to Bumpy's house for a bit because they knew all their mums were there. They had their tea there, and then Bumpy asked her mum if they could have a sleepover and decorate the tree. Even though it was a school night, she said yeah, and so did the other mums. Everyone went home and got their pyjamas and clean clothes for school. When they went back to Bumpy's house, they got to work decorating her Christmas tree. They sang their version of certain Christmas carols, again much to the amusement of their mums. Then they made some more paper chains and put them up around Bumpy's house and in her bedroom. When they finished, they played for a bit, and then they went to bed. The next day, school was closed again because of the snow, so the kids went sledging and snowball fighting for a couple of hours, and then they went back to Grumpy's house. When they got to Grumpy's house, he asked his mum if he could have a sleepover so they could decorate his tree, and she said yeah. Everyone went home and got their things, and then they went back to Grumpy's house. When they got there, they had some tea, played for a bit, and then got to work decorating the tree. Of course, they couldn't resist singing their version of certain Christmas carols and putting Joke sweets on the tree. When they'd finished decorating the tree, they went into Grumpy's bedroom and put festive paper chains up. When they'd finished, with permission from Grumpy's parents, they put what was left of the paper chains around the house. The next day, school was open again, and the kids had quite a few Christmas decorations left over from home. They asked Mrs. Tinker if they could put them up in the school corridors, and she said yeah. Of course, she allowed the whole school to put up decorations around the school. She loved Christmas, and she decided that every classroom was going to have a tree that would be decorated by the staff and the kids. A few days later, all the Christmas trees and the new decorations chosen by each class were delivered. Everyone got stuck into decorating the trees. They all sang carols, and yeah, the little monsters sang their version of certain carols, much to everyone's amusement. There was even a Christmas tree outside on the school field, which was beautifully decorated. Once they'd all finished decorating the trees, they used what decorations were left over to decorate the dinner hall. The whole school looked beautiful. However, they weren't finished yet because there was still the staff rooms and the assembly hall. By the time they'd finished, it was time to go home. End of chapter 8. I hope you like it, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.